everyone. Hi everyone, I'm Dottie, Stitching Scotty, and these are my two Scotty dogs. This is a video about counted cross stitch, and today is March the 2nd, 2024. I'd just like to welcome you, and this is Winston right here. You get down now. Oh my goodness. And this is Striker. They've been out in the rain playing yesterday, so they look a little scruffy, but they just want to say hello. They love to be on the camera. And so we've got a lot to share today. Thank you so much, first of all, for watching, for liking, subscribing, for commenting. It's greatly appreciated. We have got some past FFOs. We've got some FFOs. We've got some shout outs. We've got two freebies. Hopefully the one for spring and the other one is like a Stitcher's freebie kind of thing. We've got an Etsy shop featured today. We've also got a tool of the week. I have my whips. I have my whip go progress from February, the wrap up, and some statistics for that, and also some of my plans for March. I keep saying for February. I'm behind. But anyway, we've got a lot to share, and I just thank you so much for your comments. They are just wonderful, and I love reading every one of them. Excuse me. We had a sit and stitch though on Friday in Spartanburg at the Barnes & Noble, and of course the weather did not cooperate. It rained and poured, and it was very, very cold and damp. So I'm sure a lot of people stayed away that would ordinarily have come, because driving in the rain that was coming down so hard was quite difficult. There were only 4 of us there, and there's a lot of sickness going around too. So for those of you that were ill, I'm just so sorry. I just hope you feel better soon. And then we're going to have another one on March the 15th at Barnes & Noble. We all had such a good time. It was a very nice atmosphere. It was quiet. Probably because it rained so much. So we'd like to invite you March the 15th at the Barnes & Noble in Spartanburg, South Carolina on WOEZL Boulevard. And it starts at 3 o'clock and we go until. We went until about 8 this past week. So we had a really good time. They have, coffee, tea, drinks, cookies, and stuff. So, you can get you something there if you need. But anyway, moving right along, some of the past FFOs, because everybody's getting snow out west, I thought I would show one more winter past FFO. And this one is so old that I do not know the name of the pattern. So if you know the name of the pattern, chime in. But I do know it was a Bent Creek or a Trilogy. So this is it. And it's a little log cabin in the snow. And this was one of the first things I framed. I just found this frame in a box at Sandy's Cross Stitch on the Go. And I was like, oh, I like this. And I just thought it was real cute for this. And this one's done on 28 count linen. I want to say it's Cafe Mocha, because that was my go-to back then. And I used all the call for threads. It's got straight stitch, back stitch, and some cross stitches. Okay. All right, that was one. Now my next one is a sampler. It's a fun sampler. It's for March. Country Cottage Needleworks has a monthly series, and it's called, I think, Sampler of the Month. And this is March. And this was my FFO for that one. I did these last year. I don't have the whole series done, of course. I do it a while, and it's like, oh, we're tired of that. But this one's on Beautiful Beige, 28 count. And I'm using the 2 strands of Classic Colorworks. I put some white rickrack around it from Fat Quarter Shop. And I had this that I got from Joann's, the fabric, and I covered a piece of comic board, but I suggest foam core, and put some washers in there and just stuck it in a frame from Hobby Lobby. So there's my finish on that. Then next, this one you'll either have to get at your local needlework shop if they've still got any left, but if they don't, do not fret. You can go to 123 Stitch. I don't know if they have this pattern out yet, but if you just keep lurking and looking, maybe it will come out, because they did buy all of Lizzie Kate's designs. And this is a Lizzie Kate mystery sampler. It says, yesterday is done. Tomorrow is a mystery. Today is a gift. And so I did that. I put it on a mat board, and then I had some of the Chelsea's checks that I put in the back, and I used all the call for threads that they had. We did this when it first came out, but I didn't get it framed until recently, last year, and this is a frame from Hobby Lobby, and it just had some kind of saying or something on it, and it was like this. So, and I got this probably 2 years ago, the frame. All right. So, and that's on 28 count also, because all I used to stitch on was 28 count. But that's my past FFOs. So now let's talk about my current FFOs. I have been very busy fully finishing things. That's what an FFO is. It's a fully finished object. The first thing I did was I started leaves from Bent Creek. It was a kit I had because I was doing that for winter cross stitch camp. That's put on by Sherry from Colorado Cross Stitcher. And you have to start something with an animal in it, and then you finish it that month. I wanted to fully finish mine also. So I got a little easel from Hobby Lobby, and it said something about friends, and I finished it on here. It's on 18 count cork linen, and I used pearl cotton, which was included in the kit. And then I got a piece of mat board, put it on here, put some batting behind it. And then I used Dames of the Needle from the Cauldron, mini pom-pom, canned pumpkin, 1 yard. Okay, I used a good bit of the rest of the leftover I had from that, and put it around with glue. And I also painted this. It was a tan with like some little stuff around it, and see, it's got the little easel. And here's the product number, just in case you can take a screenshot. And that's my finish and my fully finish. I'm so excited about that. So that'll be ready for Thanksgiving this year, because I don't have enough Thanksgiving stuff. So that was finish number 1, and that will be posted under, well, it is posted under hashtag Winter Cross Stitch Camp 2024 and hashtag Colorado Cross Stitcher. So you can go and look and see all those finishes of all the people that did cross stitch camp. And they've got a little badge on Sherry's website that you can go and at Colorado Cross Stitch Stitcher, you can go there and you can stitch the little winter badge. I have not stitched those, but maybe later. Then next, this is a real old pattern. It's oldie but a goodie, and I got it at a retreat. And this is called Lucky Day. I don't know who it's by. And I put it on this little board I've got here. And I had the little florist at work tie me a bow with this ribbon that Dolores got me several years ago. This is on Ada. It's on 18 count Ada. And we used 2 strands over 2. And we've got some chronic for the horseshoe. And I found a little shamrock button, and I thought that would just be real cute. Of course, I found it after I had placed it on the, or hot glued it on the board. And I just used some acrylic paint to paint this. And that's my finish right there. So I'll have that ready in an easel for St. Patrick's Day. St. Patrick's Day and Easter come really close this year. So, yeah. And, yeah. So now we're switching to a different holiday. I've been looking for a hoop. I had a hoop around here somewhere, and I must have used it for something else. So I had to go to Joann's and buy a hoop. I got a 7-inch hoop, and this is Ebenezer. And this is Bah Humbug by the Calico Confectionary. And this was also a retreat project. And I had a lot of fun stitching this one. I tied the bow. After watching the florist at work tie bows, I watched and watched and watched. She'll be so proud of me. And then I put this little pine cone that I cut off from a sprig, a spray or whatever, and some little flocked pine needles, and then a holly leaf. And I just hot glued those up there with the bow. So I'm really tickled about this. And on the back, I put some fabric that I bought at a yard sale. So there you go. So this will be ready for Christmas. All right. And this was on 28 count vintage country Mocha, and I used all the call for DMC. So those are my 3 fully finished objects. Yay! Okay. I've really been trying to get things done, pulling out of the box, finishing as I go, you know, that kind of thing. So that's kind of good. Okay, now make sure that I've got the fully finished objects. I post these on hashtag FFO Challenge 2024. And I also tag Jen Quilter and Penny's Daughter Shares. Well, you need to watch Two Tall Stitchers and Penny's Daughter Shares on Flosstube, where they talk more about it. It's very inspiring, and it's really got me going to get my stuff finished. And I've gotten a lot of fully finished objects this year. In fact, when you hear my stats, you're going to go, holy cow, you did that many in a month. I was just so thrilled, because it's nice to see the things that you've worked so hard on and now they're finished. Okay, the next thing I want to show is a freebie. Okay, this one is from Lottie Da. I will link it below, and this is something that everyone can use. It's floss tags. So what she does is she stores her DMC floss on floss tags, and you go to her website and you'll see like this, and then it's got it prints out this sheet right here, and she prints them on heavy paper, you know, like cardstock something, and then she cuts them out and punches a little hole and loops her floss through the hole. And then it's even got a little line where you can write the number of the DMC, and it says DMC. You know, because sometimes people get color and cotton, they get anchor or whatever. So that's really good. So I will link that below, and I thought y'all would really, really enjoy that, because, you know, it's just nice to have something different. Then the other free pattern I have 2 this week, because I knew everybody didn't use floss tags or floss drops, whatever you want to call them. So I thought, well, everybody needs a spring pattern, and I thought this was very, very cute. This is from Pinkernpunkin quilting.blogspot.com, and I will put the link for this one below. It's spring in my step, and Melisa has some of the cutest patterns. I mean, she's got too many to count. So I will link that below. But this spring is just so cute. And it's quick. Look how quick you could do that one up. And she's got the little pom-poms around it. So those are your 2 freebies for today. Okay, let's talk now about let's talk about the tool of the week. Okay, my tool of the week is this. And this is a linen or Aida roll. And what you do is, if you're traveling and you don't want to get your project, you know, say you're going to the framers or something, and you don't want to get you've ironed your project and you want to get it there without wrinkles or creases, and you don't want it to get dirty. You lay it on this, and then you just roll it up. And then you just tie these. Well, yeah. Okay, you tie both of them, and then you can just carry it like this. You can put it in your sewing bag, and when you take it out, your linen or your Aida, your project will not be creased, and it will protect it from, you know, the elements or dirt or something like that. You can make these yourself. It's got like a wooden dowel, and then you just take some fabric and quilt it. And I don't think if they have batting in here, it's very, very light. They may have like a piece of flannel or something in the middle, but it's so pretty. I got this at Dying to Stitch at a retreat I went to a couple of years ago, and I really, really enjoy this, especially when I travel. So that's a really good tool, and it's something you can make, so that's good. Or if you don't want to make one, I'm sure that you can find somebody on Etsy that you can buy one from. And I have seen them in a couple of shops during my travels, but I can't remember where. Okay, now we're going to talk about my whips, or works in progress, okay? All right, the first thing, let me get situated. We're going to talk whip go for February. I had 2 projects that, you know, she had 2 calls, and one of those was Christmas delivery. Okay, Jessie Marie Does Stuff is the one that facilitates this, and every month on the 25th she calls out 2 numbers, and I make my bingo board, or my whip go board, and this is it. And so far I've only got 2 off. Okay, I marked off Christmas delivery, and of course Ebenezer, because all I had to stitch on this was 5 days. I got a good bit done considering how much time, or how little time I had. And this is on an Under the Sea fabric. I showed this last week. I haven't worked on it since last week, but since I'm doing my wrap up, I thought, well, I better show it again in case I've got some new viewers or you missed last week's video. This is on an Under the Sea. It's called Sea Witch, and it's an opalescent, which means it has little sparklies in it. And I got this at Keepsakes when I went to StitchCon, and this is my 5 days stitching. I just had a little bit of the tree done when I started, so I'm pretty pleased with this. It's 2 strands of DMC over 2, and I'm using the call for colors, except for the red on the packages. I didn't have the red they call for, so I'm using 304, I think it is. So that's what I've got, 2 strands over 2. And so it's going to be put away for a little bit. It'll come back out soon, maybe, or maybe not. You never can tell. But I really, really enjoyed working on that, and I really got kind of hooked on it because I thought, oh, this is fun, and I want to see it grow. You know, it's very fun to see them grow. So, yeah. This is really, really fun. So I highly suggest getting this one. It's by Cottage Garden Samplings. All right, the next Whip Go call, which I have not gotten my page finish, or what I considered a page finish. I didn't look at it right, but this is from Cricket Collection, and it's autumn. So what I considered a page finish was U through N, and then of course T through A, which I've not started. So I had started on the U in the middle, and I was going this way. Well, then I didn't have a couple of the colors, and it takes a lot of colors. I swapped the Prairie Grass Silken Colors, since I didn't have that, for $7.44. And for the Silken Colors Autumn Bouquet, I'm using $9.83. So that's what I'm using for that. And on... yeah, that's it. So here's what I've got done. It's on 28 count even weave, and notice I did get a bit done. I got the pheasant or the turkey finish that I called a pheasant, and I got the N and all the little acorns and the bat, and I started on the witch's hat on top of the pumpkin. I got the cattails done and the water. So I'm ready to start some more, but I used 2 strands over 2, all DMC, and this is a nice project. I really, really like it, but I don't want to stitch you more autumn right now. I'm autumned out. But this was really, really fun to stitch on, but I stitched on it so many days in a row because I would stitch a little here, stitch a little there, that I just didn't have time to it just was like an ongoing thing forever. So yeah, ready to be done with that one for right now. So it's going to take a little time out. Not that it's bad and not that I messed up. It's just that, yeah. we're done with that. All right, so that was my whip go. So I got one. Right now, instead of having 4 squares X'd off, I only have 2. But that's okay. I have the rest of the year, and that's okay. Okay, so the next thing we're going to talk about is my Lord's Prayer sampler. This one is on a piece of 32 count, and I think it's Winter Brew by R&R Reproductions. This pattern is from Stoney Creek. It's the Lord's Prayer sampler, and it's a big one. I did get a little bit done. I took this to the sit and stitch on Friday night, and I got all this done at the sit and stitch. Now, I did a lot of talking too. Had a good time, but it's slowly but surely moving along, and I'm working on it just a little bit at a time. That was the only time I got to work on it this week, was at the sit and stitch. I'm using all the call for threads. It is 2 over 2, and I'm really enjoying this. Well, wait a minute, I'm not using I'm not using all the call for threads. Good grief. The words are in Swamp Water, Weeks Dye Works. And also the words, the Lord's Prayer. That's in Swamp Water. I did not have the DMC 4000, and I went shopping. Nobody had 4 skeins of it. So I said, we'll just try something else. So I found Swamp Water, and it looks just as good, if not better. So that's good. Okay, so I can't wait to get that one done, but it's going to be a while, so you're going to see it a lot. Okay, my charm on my bag got stuck. Okay, I got to put my stuff back because last week I lost some floss because I didn't put everything back. So I want to do that. The next thing we have is I'm just ashamed that this one's not a finish. It was a new start, and it's from Lizzie Kate, and this is Acorn scissor case. And this was a partial kit. It had everything but the floss. It had the little charms, the acorn, and the whole thing. And this is what I've got done. Oops. See, I left my needle in it because I was going to get it done. I'm doing the 1 over 1, the word autumn. And when I get that done, I'll be finished. And it'll be FFO'd and everything. And you just unzip it. And it's lined. And you put your scissors in it, and it keeps your scissors safe. It's a good way to travel with your scissors. And I just thought that was really cute. But the pumpkin, the leaves are 2 strands over 2. The back stitch is 1 strand. And then the word autumn is 1 over 1. And this is on 32 count. Doesn't say. It's just on 32 count. No. But anyway, it's some kind of banding because there's like a band there. And you just kind of stick your fingers under there and stitch. And it's not really bad. I'm really enjoying it. And it uses DMC. So hopefully that'll be a fully finished. Oh, and I'm using my favorite project bag, Ziploca. I got that from somebody that I heard that from. So, thank you, which I will not mention their name. Okay. But I heard that and I thought, oh, that's hilarious. Ziploca. Okay, the next one is, I said I was going to stitch on a sampler every week. I didn't get much done on this sampler this week. This is mine from Mrs. Parkman's Needlework Academy that I got because I want to practice more stitches. And I just wanted to do something that would like educate me more in cross stitch, because there's a lot of specialty stitches that you can do. And this is called A Last That Has Gone, and it's Margaret Anderson, 1830, and it's an online needlework class with Nicola Parkman. She shows you how to do all the stitches, and she talks about the girl and tells you all about the samplers, you know, the history and things. I started in the upper left corner, and I'm doing this on 40 count espresso. And this is from Fiber on a Whim. And there's what I've got done. And so I worked more on this right here. I'm using one strand over 2 threads. And I'm making all those big swirls so I can fill them in with the satin stitch. And that was one reason I did this, was because it has a lot of satin stitch, and I wanted to improve on my satin stitch over on counted cross stitch fabric. I can do it in embroidery, but not on counted cross stitch fabric to look good on linen. It just, yeah. So now I've learned some little tips and tricks, so that'll be good. So I highly recommend Miss Parkman's Needlework Academy. You go to the Hats website and you go to the online store under shop, and you will see Miss Parkman's Needlework Academy, and she has several things you can look at. She also has some lectures that you can listen to, and this, you pay a minimal cost for this, and you have the online class and the pattern, and then you provide your own threads and everything. So it's really good. Okay, that's all my works in progress for this week. So let's talk about my wrap up for February. Okay. All right. I started out and I had 85 works in progress. I know that's a lot, but you know, I had mania for 2 years, and I just start them and just leave them. So, and a lot of them are really small. You know, I like to do holiday stitching. I do a little sampler stitching. I do some perforated paper stitching, that kind of thing. But I started 8 new projects this month. So that brought my total to 93. I only had 2 finishes. So that brought my total down to 91. Oh dear. But I'm not going to worry about it, because it's not like they're going to walk off and go somewhere. I fully finished 14 projects. So my little box has been empty, except it's still full. So that's good. I didn't have any days that I did not stitch. I went to I went to 2 stitch-ins. One was the Superb Owl stitch-in. That was a Zoom stitch-in. And then the other one was at Pandas Crossing and Beading, my local needlework shop in Mauldin, South Carolina, outside Greenville. And she has 2 nights a month, but I didn't get to go to one of them. I didn't go to any retreats this month. And my Whip Go calls, of course, were Christmas delivery and autumn. The sales that I kept up with this month, in February, were hashtag Winter Cross Stitch 2024, hashtag Colorado Cross Stitcher, and hashtag FFO Challenge 2024. Those are the only ones that I posted on this month. I should have posted on another one, but I didn't. So anyway, we're starting March with 91 works in progress, and I know that makes some of y'all skin crawl, but you know, it just makes me happy. I like stitching things, and if you don't start it, you can't finish it. So, and I can't stitch on the same thing over and over and over and over. I just can't. I just lose interest and off I go. But what are my plans for this month? Okay. So, I don't think that's it. Oh well. Okay. First of all, I am planning on signing up for the Orphan Annie Sampler, inspired by the British Orphanage Sampler. It's a Zoom stitch class, and it's going to be held on Wednesday, April the 17th. But to sign up for it, you have to be a member of the Queen City Stitch Guild. Queen City Sampler Guild, excuse me. And that's in Cincinnati, Ohio. They have a website, which I will link below. Kathleen from Cross Stitch. Oh, it just went. Let me see. Yep. Antique. Oh dear. Antique Sampler. Well, she does Antique Sampler reproductions. It's Cross Stitch Antiques, I think. I'm so sorry. I will link it below. anyway, I will link below the link to get on there, and Kathleen is going to do a lecture, and there's an optional chart for the Amelia Fox sampler, which is what this came from, and you pay the Queen City Sampler Guild. So do not email Kathleen or anything. Everything goes to the Queen City Sampler Guild because it's their Zoom retreat, but you have to join their guild in order to sign up for this. They also have, excuse me, a mini online class about Martha Edlin and her embroidery. And Thistle Threads has a new mini course, and it's 3 years of Trish's research. And it's got 2 videos about Martha Edlin and instructions for stitching a small project called Martha's Rose, which I will show you here. There's Martha's Rose. Okay, and so I will link that below. That's also on the Queen City Sampler Guild. You have to be a member to sign up for that. And Trisha also has a good Flosstube channel. It's called Travels with Trisha, and I will link that below also. She has beautiful samplers that you need to see. They're very, very pretty. So those are 2 things that you can do through the Queen City Sampler Guild. And I'm going to show you a picture. It's not a very good one. Okay, this one is the original that it came, or no. Okay, I can't show you that one. But this is what you'll get to stitch right here when you do the Orphan Annie sampler from the Cross Stitch Sampler Guild. Okay, so because we've been talking about samplers so much, both of my calls next month are going to be samplers. Isn't that funny? I'm not that next month, March. So the first one is a Brenda Gervais, and I got this one at the Dying to Stitch retreat, and it's called In the Light of Winter. A lot of people are stitching this. A lot of people have finished it. Not me. This one, this is where my star is going to be on this one. So I'll be posting a picture of this on the WhipGo 2024 website or Facebook group. And it's on 40 count. No. It's either on 36 or 40 count. I'll be showing you that later. And it's got satin stitch on it also. So that's good. So I've got 5 days to stitch on this. So that'll be fun. Then my next one is to stitch on a hats or hands across the sea sampler for 5 days. So I could stitch on a lass that has gone. I could stitch on that from Miss Parkman's Needlework Academy. Or I may be stitching, I haven't made my mind up, or I can stitch on, oops, Mary Clayton, which everybody's like, when are you going to finish Mary Clayton? There you go. And I'm on the house on this one. That's what I've got done on that one. It's a big house. A very big house. Okay. Or I have a couple other little red samplers that I bought at the attic that I might want to stitch on. Or even maybe a green sampler. So we'll just have to see what I pick. I haven't decided yet. So when I do that, I'm also going to start stitching some spring things and maybe a couple of little St. Patrick's Day items. So I hope to see you all next week. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you like my channel today. I hope you subscribe and come back again. And happy stitching to everyone. Be sure and stitch all the things, because if you don't stitch them, they won't be finished. Bye-bye.